Welcome to Wrestling with Success, the best and only podcast for the wrestlers of tomorrow. Please welcome your host, Nigel? Oh, right. Your host and future champion, Neil McMillan.
Yo.
So, guys and girls, we're starting this podcast a little bit differently. Yesterday, you see, I went to the Brentwood show for Dropkicks. The show with the main event of Mitch Davis versus Austin Hyde. And I've got to say, guys, I was not let down at all. Not only by the main event, but from the whole show from start to finish. The guys and girls at Dropkicks really brought it this time, and you could tell every single match there was just that little bit of extra spice, a little bit of extra something that just really made the show one hell of a show. Something that people will be talking about around Brentwood and hopefully around Essex. Honestly, one hell of a show. And not only that, I managed to, an hour before the show, sit down with the Essex Pitbull himself, Mr. Ian Frost. Sat down with him, saw some of the guys and girls and some of the talent backstage. So that was quite good to see, trying to get used to that format. And yeah, guys, the whole show from start to finish, there was a lot of good moments. I got called an English rat. I think it was an English pig. And a tie thrown at me. By Jordan. And then I had a bottle of water in front of me whilst I was watching, and good old Mitch Davis decided halfway through he needed a drink. And as soon as he took that bottle, as soon as he took it, I knew in about 10 seconds he was going to spray it all over me. The water in that is going to touch me. And not only did it touch me, he spat it all over my face. So I sat there with there's nothing I could do as well. He claims it's because it was sparkling water. That I'm not buying it. But overall, guys, amazing show. If I can recommend you to, if wherever you're training now, whatever promotion you're training at, 100% I would recommend you go to see one of the shows. If you are looking to get a slot on one of the shows or perform at one of the shows, 100% make sure you go to see a few shows before, because not only do you get to see all the talent and you get to learn as you're watching, but you get to get used to the format of things, how things work, the timings of things, what other people's characters are, what their theme songs are, what their attire is, and all stuff like that. So you can kind of build a picture and try and get an idea of where you can fit in and try to see the gaps in the talent where you could fill. So 100% ensure you go to as many shows as you can. And even myself, I need to amp it up a little bit more to go to see some more shows. And I learned so much just from watching everyone and just seeing even people's movesets as well. You can kind of try to establish your own and see how you can fit your stuff in. So, I mean, it's getting hard as well. I'm not going to lie. It was hard sitting in the crowd, seeing all the people that you train with on a weekly basis, seeing everyone up there doing their thing, and I'm sitting there itching. But I'm trying to be as patient as possible. A lot of people recently have asked about my character, and just to confirm, it's not Sandy Perm. Alright? It's not Sandy Perm, but a lot of people have been asking about my character. I do have an idea for a character, but unfortunately it's the same idea I've always kind of had from the beginning. And a lot of people that I've had on this show and people speaking to other people have mentioned that, you know, don't come at this with an open mind and try not to be so tunnel visioned, which is 100% what I'm trying to do now. I'm not kind of revealing the first established character I had. I'm just going to try and see what happens naturally, and I just know it's not going to be a hairdresser called Sandy. So, but and also, guys, whilst we have this little time together, I just want to say a massive thank you for, honestly, the messages I get from people who listen to this, or even just like the little courteous someone saying to me, "Oh, I listened to your podcast. That guest was awesome. I learnt this, and this." That like literally blows my mind. That is amazing to me. That makes my day when people give me comments like that. I've had messages from people as well, and the reviews. I just want to say that, like, thank you so much for all the positive reviews you've given me. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, guys, if you like what I'm doing, or if you don't like what I'm doing, feel free to message me. Happy to hear anything. I'm just completely winging it as I'm going, trying to get as good guests on the show so we can get as much information out of them, so we can all learn together. So by the time it comes to me and you, listener, facing in the ring, we'll know exactly what's going down. We'll know exactly what's happening. So, guys and girls, now it's time for episode 7 of Wrestling with Success. So, guys and girls and wrestling fans worldwide, welcome to episode 7 of Wrestling with Success. And this episode, I'm recording directly from Brentwood Theatre, and I'm here attending the Dropkicks Academy Wrestling Show, and my guest today is on the card for tonight's show. I've managed to catch up with him before. So my guest today, guys, this guy is a gym fiend. He's a gym fiend, an old school British powerhouse. He is the guard dog of Southend-on-Sea. He is the guard dog of Essex. This man does no flips whatsoever. He is literally wrestling in about an hour or so. Literally. And ladies and gentlemen, I give to you the Essex Pitbull himself, Mr. Ian Frost. Ian, how are you?
Well, I'm fine, thank you very much, and that was quite the introduction.
Thank you very much. I try to give good introductions to people to try and boost them up a little bit. So, I mean, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us.
No problem.
And especially as you're about to perform live in Brentwood. So, Ian, let's kick things straight off. Can you introduce yourself to the listeners, the viewers, and how you got into wrestling?
Yeah, as Noel said, I am the Essex Pitbull Ian Frost. I come from Southend-on-Sea in Essex, born and bred, and unfortunately still there, but that's neither here nor there. I started wrestling about 3 years ago, but I've been into it since I was a kid, and I've waited this long to get into it for God knows why. Yeah. Life just got in the way, because I'm no spring chicken. I'm 34 years old. And started when I was 31, so that's quite late.
I'm old as well. I'm quite late as well, so fair play for you for starting off that later as well.
Yeah, I've got more grey hairs than normal hairs now, unfortunately.
So, I mean, what made you want to become a wrestler anyway?
Oh, I was going back to... Well, I first went to start wrestling back in 99. People like Stone Cold, The Rock. Yeah. I just wanted to be like them.
Yeah.
And then I got married, I had kids, and I broke up with my wife, and I thought... Can I swear? Am I allowed to swear this?
Fuck yeah.
So fuck it. I'm single now, I'm going to do it.
Good.
So I rung around some schools and started training and haven't looked back since.
Oh, good stuff. So, I mean, who made you want to become a wrestler? Who was the kind of person you looked up to that you kind of wanted to be like?
Taz.
Yeah?
Taz, I'm not a tall guy. I'm only 5'8", 5'9". Yeah. When I'm wearing heels. And he was that sort of same sort of stature that I had, and he just threw people around like a rag doll. I wanted to be that guy that could just throw people over his head and just hit them really hard and just knock them 10 barrels of shit out.
That kind of intense like Taz is. No, fair enough. I mean, when you started training, I know what you're saying, you're old. I'm old. I'm quite old as well to start training. You see these young ones flipping around and doing all these things, and but what were the main struggles when you started training out?
It was travelling, because I didn't really know about the schools in Essex. They weren't very well advertised, and Dropkicks, when I first started training, only did Sunday shows, and I work most Sundays with the job that I do, and I was travelling into London every week, and so I was leaving Southend at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I wasn't getting back till 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, wow. And sometimes I'd get like an hour sleep and have to go to work.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just like, it was so...
Where was that in London you were training?
I was training at Progress.
Progress, yeah.
At the Projo. So that is probably the only reason why I stopped going there, was because it was so draining on just me and my time, and that's when, luckily, I found a school in Essex. Started going there for a few months. Unfortunately, that folded, and then Dropkicks started doing Wednesday sessions, and I haven't looked back since.
Oh, good stuff. Good. So, I mean, one other struggle you didn't mention about training, though, is the fact that when I started training, probably about a month after we started training, I stamped on your ankle. Do you remember that?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I feel so guilty.
One other struggle is I am quite injury prone.
Yeah?
I've only been wrestling for 3 years, and I've had 3 or 4 quite bad injuries.
Yeah?
I injured my hip quite badly, and so embarrassingly, I fell off the top rope and landed on hard ground on my side. Another reason why I don't do flips, people. I cracked my ribs. That was quite painful, especially since I was carrying on wrestling whilst having the cracked ribs as well. And the most recent one, which I've still technically got, is I separated my shoulder.
Oh, really?
Which has caused my collarbone to dislocate. And so I've still got that one.
Yeah.
You can point, sometimes when I'm sitting in front, you can see the bone sticking out. But I just get on with it.
So the stamp on the ankle that I gave you,
stamp on the ankle
doesn't count as an injury? Or?
It hurt, I'm not going to lie, but on the scheme of things, I've had a lot worse.
No, fair enough. Well, I just wanted to publicly apologise for that.
That's
Accidents happen, people.
This is true, it's not ballet.
No. So how did the character Essex Pitbull come about then? Did you debut that? Or?
I debuted that at Dropkicks. I've gone through 3 personas since I've been wrestling. The first one lasted all of one show, and that was a masked wrestler called El Silverback.
Yeah, Mitch mentioned something about this in the last episode. What?
It was...
Whose idea was that?
The promoter. Admittedly, I'll hand up my hands. I had cocked up at that show.
Yeah.
The promoter, I say it was Phil Powers. He said, when you hear your music, no matter if it's not your music, just go to the ring. So I heard music.
Yeah.
I went to the ring. There was no one there, just a crowd. So I did my entrance. I got in the ring, walked around. I realised there's no one here. What the fuck have I done? So I think Phil came out, so I just got out of the ring and walked backstage. And as a punishment, I should have been called Doomsday. Yeah. Which was the masked character that I was going to do. But I had labelled as El Silverback from somewhere in Mexico. So for the meet and greet afterwards, I had to put on a Mexican accent and pretend I couldn't speak English. And so I was signing El Silverback and there's these drunk guys dressed as in costumes, and they were like talking to us. So I was having to go, sí, no, I got to go home for the niños. Because luckily I could do a Mexican accent, so I kind of got away with it. Yeah. But I was like, no, I cannot go drinking. I got to go home for the niños.
That's brilliant. So it's a punishment.
Yeah. Which I deserved, because I ballsed up. It's to say after that one, I ditched the mask because it was very hard to see in. But actually, my actual debut for the Phil Powers promotion was, I did a couple of run-ins the week before, and there was one run-in where I got taken out by someone from the crowd. Yeah. And it was supposed to be a clothesline. I got out to the ring and I thought, I can't fucking see a thing. Because the mask had gauze over the eyes. Oh, yeah. It was a Mexican lucha mask. So I was like, I can't fucking see. I turned around, the light was underneath, and I'm getting clotheslined. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So I ditched the mask, I couldn't see out of it. And then I went on to be the Iceman.
Okay,
Ian Frost, Iceman. Yeah. And I was a devilish heel, beating up people for fun. Yeah. And that lasted about 3 shows, because that, unfortunately, the promotion sort of folded, didn't run the school anymore. Yeah. Because he moved on to other things. And then I went to this underground sort of federation. It was almost like backyarding, but it wasn't. Yeah. It was in a hall. They recorded it, did shows on the internet. Okay. And they called me Big Man Ian, because ironically enough, I wasn't the biggest man there, but they called me Big Man Ian. And I didn't really like it, because that's not who I was, but I just went with it. And then that folded. You're noticing a pattern here. And then I came to Dropkicks. They welcomed me in, and I thought, new promotion, clean slate.
Yeah.
So I toyed around with ideas, and one of the Austin Hyde said that I reminded him of the British Bulldog. So I thought, well, I can't use that because that's already been done. So I thought, so I was toying around with other dogs that were sort of ferocious. I was going to go with Essex Bulldog, but again, that's a bit too close. So I thought, Essex Pitbull.
Yeah.
Why not? I'm from Essex, and pit bulls are quite ferocious and tenacious, so I thought, fuck it. And it's stuck ever since.
Oh, it's good, man.
Doesn't go down so well in other counties.
Yeah.
I found. Had a match in Wiltshire, Trowbridge.
Yeah.
And I was wrestling the hometown hero. Yeah, they didn't like the Essex Pitbull.
Could you not be the Trowbridge Pitbull?
Funny enough, I did during the match. I was because I thought they're not going to like me, so I might as well just be a dick.
Yeah.
So I was beating up the guy, and I said, "Look at your hero now. I am the local hero. Worship me." Again, that didn't go down too well either. So anyway.
Oh, good.
Trowbridge doesn't like me.
No, fair enough. So I mean, today you've got tonight's card. You're facing 3 others in a fatal 4-way. You've got Mark Hendry, Taylor Essex, and Jack Torino.
All guys who flip.
Yeah, they are. They are. That's a good point. And you don't flip.
I don't flip. No flips, just slams.
I agree with you on that. I'm not. We always go and do training together. We see these kids flying about. No,
I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah, exactly that.
I'm not built to flip.
So I mean, show days like today. How do you prepare, like for a whole show day? Like from what do you have for breakfast? That kind of thing. Like, how do you get ready for a show?
Today I had a protein shake. And I had chili for lunch. I don't know. It's this weird one because I just tend to, before I leave for the venue, it's just any other day.
Yeah.
It's what I do when I get to the venue. So I pack my gear into a case, put it in the car, drive to the venue. When I get there, once it rings up, I just sit and gather my thoughts and just chill.
Yeah.
Because it's no point. I used to get really nervous before a show, and I used to to the point where I'd almost be sick.
Yeah.
I thought there's no point. There's no point getting yourself so worked up that you're making yourself sick. So I now just chill out and go for a walk or just chat shit with people.
Yeah.
Just because if you get worked up, you're more likely to make a cock up.
Yeah, sure.
So I just chill out.
Is there any rituals you have or anything?
I know I should say yes, but there really isn't.
No?
There really isn't.
No, I like it. Cool, calm and collected. I like it.
I get ready, but sometimes I get ready. It depends on where the card is. I get ready either before the show or like Trowbridge. I was on the main event, so I didn't get ready to the interval because there's no point walking around in your gear when it's like, oh, I've not got to be out there for another 2 hours, and I'm walking around in a singlet. Oh God, I need a piss. And so you have to whip your sleeves down.
Try not to be seen by anyone.
Either that, cock your leg up over. So it's just, I just chill.
No, that's good, man. I like it.
Chill
That's cool, calm, collective. So, I mean, you mentioned you've got kids. How many kids have you got?
I've got 2.
2 kids. Have you ever had them come see you wrestle?
I haven't. They do watch me on YouTube, though.
Yeah?
I haven't. Well, I didn't watch before because where I was before, I wasn't a nice person.
Yeah. See, I was thinking that. Yeah.
I was screaming, I was shouting.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's not me. That's not Daddy. That's a whole other person. Yeah. I might bring him. Now I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
It's just finding someone to sit with them.
Yes, that's fair enough.
Because obviously, when I've got, they're not. I don't think their mum would want to come and see me wrestle.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Even though we're on good terms, let's point that one out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I've always kept thinking about whether I'd bring my kids to see. But if I was a face and I was beating someone, I was a hero. Then yeah, fair enough. But if I was a heel, which I kind of want to be a heel.
Yeah.
If I'm a heel and I'm a prick,
I'm not going to lie, it is more fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's more fun. Yeah, you'd rather make people hate you than try and be everyone's friend. What, shouting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can hear I've got a bit of a sore throat now, so I'm glad I'm not the one that's got to shout.
Okay, so what other main tips would you give trainees and other people you're training with?
Listen to the coaches. Show respect at all times. If you ever go to a show or anywhere else to train, always shake people's hands. That's something that I first learned when I went to the Projo. even if you know the people, as soon as you walk through those doors, you shake everyone by the hand. It's just courtesy, respect. Don't get above yourselves. Pace yourselves. Because everyone, when they first start wrestling, I've seen it. Even I was kind of the same. They was planning their they'd done one session. They're planning their gimmicks. Planning their gear, planning their finishes before they even knew how to do a wrist lock. Yeah. Learn the basics, and the rest will follow. Just then keep it simple. I don't. You see all these spots and think, why? Yeah. Like, think about how you want to tell a story, because that's what wrestling is. It's a story. People are watching. It's kind of like a soap opera. Yeah. So have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and just make sure it makes sense. And don't worry about getting your shit in. Yeah. It's not about getting your shit in. If you're the good guy, yeah, you kind of want to get some of your shit in. But if you're the heel, make sure the crowd hate you. If they don't hate you, you ain't doing your job. Yeah. Simple as that.
Good. Good advice. So, I mean, Ian, the Pitbull, Mr. Frost, it's fan time now. It's fan time. What was the very first wrestling match you watched?
Oh, Christ. See, I'm going back to the 80s.
The 80s,
This is as far back as I go. See, the funny thing is, I didn't actually know anything about wrestling until, it's a true story. I went in W.H. Smith's. Yeah. And they were selling the figures, the Hasbro figures.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, what's this? And I'd never even seen or heard of the WWF, or it is now.
Yeah.
And you know, the one that stood out to me wasn't even anyone that's well known. It was Hakeem the African Dream. Yeah. That is legit the first figure that I ever owned was Hakeem the African Dream.
Oh, wow.
And so, what first match I saw? I'm pretty sure the first event that springs to mind that I ever watched, it's not the 80s, it's the 90s. It was the only one memory that I remember seeing was SummerSlam 92. The Bulldog Bret Hart main event.
Yeah.
So the first match I would have seen that I remember, it might not be the first match I saw, but the first match I remember seeing was LOD versus IRS.
Okay, yeah.
In the tag match where the LOD came out on the motorbikes with the gold pads.
Yeah.
I've probably seen shows before that, but that is the one that
stands out.
That I remember.
Yeah.
But before that, I'm sure I would have seen, unless of course I might be thinking I watched the VCRs, the VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And that's how I had VHS tapes.
No, I started with VHS as well. That's exactly how I did.
So I've seen WrestleMania 1, 2, but I think that's the first event I remember recording off of Sky.
Yeah.
And watching, because I didn't have Sky, but my aunt used to record all the pay-per-views for me.
Yeah.
So that's the first one I remember actually sitting down and see.
Oh, fair enough. So, I mean, who's your favourite? You're a Powerhouse guy as well. Mm-hmm. Very big and stocky. Who's your favourite Powerhouse? Who do you kind of look at to think, this is the kind of guy I need to be like?
Old school?
Yeah.
Bulldog.
Yeah, of course.
Without a doubt. I've got to say I'm British.
Yeah.
But him and Animal were the two guys that I really looked up to. But nowadays, Unbreakable Michael Elgin.
All right, okay.
The New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
He's more an indie guy. So he's a former ROH champion, former Intercontinental and IWGP Intercontinental champion. But he is the epitome of what power is nowadays. Because he's also agile and he has wrestled over here a couple of times. But yeah, Michael Elgin is the one I look up to nowadays.
Make note of that. What's the best pay-per-view you've ever watched? This is a different question. I'm throwing questions different every week.
Best pay-per-view I've ever seen. See, the one that sticks out, because it's the first one I saw after my break from wrestling in the mid-90s was WrestleMania 15.
Okay, yeah.
Rock Austin was the main event.
Yeah.
And the build-up
to
that pay-per-view was money.
Still to this day, probably the best build-up as well.
The McMahon-Austin feud was at its peak.
Yeah.
And he had Foley, wanted to be the guest referee, so he had a match against Big Show on the card. and just the whole card from start to finish seemed like it was built towards that match, even though the people around it weren't actually involved. It was just everything was building, and I don't remember there being a bad match from start to finish.
I think the only one was that Undertaker boss man thing. That was a bit. Was that the word?
Yes, where he got
the Hell in a Cell, like the
hanging
moves. Yeah.
Also, I think there was Sable Tory, which was a bit.
Well, I think back then you don't really remember even the women's match.
No, they were kind of wee breaks. Yeah. Even if Sable was in it.
Exactly. Yeah. Until
Brock, if you're listening, I didn't mean that. She was a great wrestler.
No, I think Brock, you should come down and go against the Essex Pitbull. Definitely. I'd pay to see that.
Don't think we could afford it.
Okay. One talent in the world today. Anyone in the world right now, celebrity, even anyone who you could put in a match with yourself. Who would you want to wrestle? Anybody in the world. Wrestling talent, celebrity, anybody.
Wrestler that I'd want to wrestle would probably be... That's it. Celebrity would be Joey Essex.
Yeah.
Just so I could throw him the fuck about.
Well, we've got our own little Joe. You can throw him about.
Yeah,
Taylor
and I'll be picturing Joey's face on Taylor when I throw him about.
Oh, good.
Because that guy gives Essex a bad name. Yeah. People, we're not like that twat.
No.
We actually have brains. Wrestle, I'd love to wrestle. I've got to say Elgin. Just because he's the guy I look up to at the minute.
I've really got to look this guy up now then. Oh, good. Who is your favourite talent from WWE or the indie scene? Apart, you can't say Elgin. Your favourite talent as a fanboy. Who are you kind of looking at as a fanboy?
Favourite talent in WWE has got to be, hands down, Kevin Owens.
Yeah?
The guy is money.
Yeah,
his promos alone make people want to watch.
He's not as good as what he used to be. When he came in NXT,
all
day long, when he first debuted, but since then, since Cena...
Yeah, I mean, he's playing his part, I think.
Yeah.
I think we will see the prize fighter again, but I think the minute he's playing his antagonising Canadian holding the United States.
Yeah, I don't know, it's all a bit...
Indie, although I think he's probably going to be NXT, is Adam Cole.
Yeah?
Yeah, the guy's... I keep saying this right, but he's money.
Yeah.
You could put him against anyone and he'd have a 5-star match. His promo work, his mannerisms, just everything just screams superstar.
Yeah.
So Adam Cole is one of the top guy in India at the minute.
No, fair enough. So your upcoming match, have you got anything you can let us know about this? No, I'm here tonight as a fanboy. I'm looking forward to the main event. I'm looking forward to your match. I'm looking forward to there's a lot of guys I want to see debut.
I can tell you one thing. I won't be doing flips.
No flips.
There's no flips. Just slams. That is my motto.
Can you fake? I tell you what. Can you chuck in a fake flip, like a kind of faint flip tonight?
You mean like Jack Gallagher?
Yes, exactly that.
The Jack Gallagher.
Can we throw that in, and then I'll mark out as a fanboy tonight in the crowd.
I will say one thing. I am going to be debuting a new move tonight.
Okay, is this the? Are we allowed to say? It's going to be out, isn't it?
It's going to be out. I haven't got a name for it yet.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a choke slam come spine buster.
The choke buster.
The choke buster.
Okay.
So I am open. Anyone that sees the move, I'm going to ask people to record it. So I'm going to put a thing online. Name this move. So obviously, my finish is called the pier plunge slam.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Southend. We have a pier.
Yeah.
You plunge off piers. it kind of stuck. So I am opening this one to the fandom.
Yeah.
Now don't use Movie McMoveface.
Moving Moonface.
Do you not remember the boat?
Oh yeah.
Boaty McBoatface. So don't use that one. Try and be a bit more creative than that. People.
I like that. I like
Movie McMoveface. Oh my God, he's hit Movie McMoveface.
Well, and also you've got a T-shirt, which
I didn't bring it. I didn't realise I was going to be. It is downstairs.
We'll pause it and we'll come back and I'll be wearing a T-shirt. Let's go. Let's go grab the T-shirt. Ian, I've got to say, you are a big dude. This thing is absolutely massive. It makes me look so small. But guys, go to No DQ. What's your URL?
It's www.nodq.com. Find my store there. There's this and and there's also the No Flips Just Slam shirt, which is genius.
I like that one.
It's a guy doing a flip with the no entry sign, just slammed underneath. The guy's a genius.
And I just want to say that this is his entrance. He's wearing this for the entrance, so he's going to have a little bit of Neil on him when he goes as well, which is it's very special to me.
A rub from Neil.
That means a lot. Well, Ian, I'm excited for the show to coming up. How can the listeners keep up to date with you?
Well, I'm on Twitter. The URL is at Frost_wrestler.
Yeah.
I have my own personal Instagram, but you're welcome to follow me on there. It's at Ian Frost. That's my real name. Don't tell anyone. And a Facebook page, www.facebook.com Ian Frost Wrestler.
Yeah.
Or actually just search Ian Frost Wrestler. I'll come up. That's what I've got. I am doing a website. It's just a long process and finding time to do it.
No, fair enough.
Those are the main ways at the minute.
No, good. Well, give him hell. I'm looking forward to seeing the Chokebuster or the movie Movies. I like it.
Movie face.
I can't even say it, but yeah, I like it. Well, and I'll be cheering you on from the front crowd tonight. So thank you very much for being on it, especially as you've got a show at any minute. So, well, guys and girls, that's it for this week. I'm going to be here fanboying it up at the Brentwood show in my Ian Frost t-shirt. And guys and girls, thank you for following my journey, listening to this show. And guys and girls, I look forward to wrestling a match with you all soon. I'll speak to you all next week. Thank you again for listening, and people, I need your help. I would love it if you could pop over to iTunes to leave this podcast a review. Your reviews are so important to me. I need to understand what you think of the show, and it helps just raise awareness for everyone else on this show. And not only that, guys, if you have a friend or a relative who you know is an avid wrestling fan, please point them in this podcast's direction.